Hey guys, welcome back to the Unmasked, Unchained podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Chris. And as you remember, last week we just introduced about who we are and why we're here doing this podcast for you and for us. Why
Really
not?
for us, yeah, for like really for us.
But also really for you too.
Yeah, so take note.
Because trust me, all our friends are neurodivergent and they're all looking for the same answers we are. And honestly, even the neurotypical people want to understand us better. Even if they don't, they should, because
We want you to understand.
we do. We don't want to constantly be fighting you. We want to work together because for some reason, neurodivergents work really well together.
Yes, I feel like we flock together too. Even before I was diagnosed, now that I look around, all pretty much like 90% of my friends are neurodivergent.
I know.
My family member, like everyone that I'm around, I'm like, oh, you guys are all just undiagnosed. But we're all in the same thing. We're all in this together.
I know it's crazy how it works like that, but it's like as we got older and appreciate our peace, it's like we don't want to spin our wheels, trying to explain ourselves over and over, or trying to learn from somebody that doesn't understand things the way we understand them. But it's funny that we attract like people when you live authentically.
Yes,
And
that's key.
all our neurodivergent friends, it's like I never have to explain myself. I never have to guess what they're saying. I never even have to um, stress about, am I doing the right things? Am I being perceived the right way?
Yes.
Are they going to not talk to me after this? No, because a neurodivergent person, we're going to just tell you how we feel right now. There's no guessing ever.
Right. Like my ex used to say, he'd be like, you are like the most just like honest person, even about stuff that like you probably should be lying about. Like you're just honest about like
I get that too. Like they're like, you don't have to tell your partner everything. And I was like, but I want them to tell me everything.
I'm like, wait, what?
And honestly, is the best policy. It's
Yes.
been tried, true, and proven. And as you know, lying always begets more lies, begets more inauthenticity, and it just circles back to hating on yourself for not just telling the truth in
Shame,
the
the
first
guilt,
place.
yes.
The shame, the guilt, yes. And as you know, like neurodivergent, we have a lot of that shame and guilt. And a lot of it, I think, stems from our hypersensitivity. We're very great observers. We hear pin drops. Like we hear every stimulus that's around us to the point of overstimulation.
Right. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah.
Exactly. But it also makes us hyper vigilant to everything going on around us. As I always like to say, it's like a monster tire driving over sand, but it's got tack glue all over the tire and it picks up every grain of sand. That's like our brains. Like everything around us is a piece of stimulus. And even if we want to or not, our brains are picking it up. So we are hypersensitive just to body language. And I think a lot of that stemmed from
Eye contact can be overstimulated. Like something as simple as what we're taught like at a young age is that eye contact is respectful. I hate eye contact.
It took me the longest time.
It's like so hard for me to like hold eye contact.
But I also, okay, stemming from this, I went through the same problem and I couldn't look at somebody in the eyes more than 2 minutes or 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw someone glaring at me, I like look away because it's like, why are they seeing me? I don't want to be seen right now. But honestly, that all falls away when you love who you are and living authentically and you wish to be seen.
When the
Then
mask,
it's like
when the mask drops.
when the mask got take a look, gaze on. Well, in the sense that you want to lead with example, and when you feel confident and you know what you're doing, then you can lead with that example. But always stay open-minded and heartfelt and kind. But getting back to our hypersensitivity and overstimulation, I think, and the body language and eye contact, it's like all those nonverbal cues that we learn because we don't know how to connect with people. A lot of the times we're like, our brain doesn't think what your brain thinks. So I can't say what I want to say because I think I'll be chastised or called out or, alienated for it. So we grew up looking, watching, studying every single person interacting in movies, our friends, our parents. I used to see one of my very popular friends be like, what does he do that I don't that gets people to hug him? Like when they see him. And I was like, no one hugs me when I come in places. What is he doing?
Like that's so true. A lot of times neurodivergent people, even if they don't realize it, one of their special interests are just human behavior. How do humans act? Who gets ahead in life? Who stands out? Who's considered pretty? Who's considered smart? and you study all those micro expressions, micro behaviors, micro everything, and you create a mask to fit into society
Yeah,
because that's what gets you by. That's literally what you use to get by in society as a normal person. And there's just yes, you can fit in that way, but in the long run, you will experience burnout. You will experience regression. You will hit a wall at some point. And so that's what we're trying to teach is dropping the mask. And yeah, that way you can avoid hopefully that
exactly.
burnout.
Learning to accept yourself fully, but also learning how you operate so you can
Mhm.
operate on your terms, not
Yes.
on society's terms.
Yes.
Because we are very efficient people, but we do not work in a motivated mindset in a sense that I, if I can't do something, I just yell at myself harder to do it and I do it. No, that doesn't work. You
Mhm.
have to take a break, go eat something,
Mhm.
maybe take a quick nap and go do something fun. And then we can come back and all of a sudden we're refreshed, ready to go, and we can engage.
Yes.
But that's what this podcast is here for too, is to teach you those things and that you're not broken. There is a way around things and life can be easy. It's just you need to be taught the rules. And this is essentially a little guidebook. And we're just going to be
Like a hack,
expanding,
like all the
yeah,
hacks, the life
hacks.
hacks.
Yeah, life hacks, but we're going to have input from the listeners like you
Mhm.
and go through what everybody's going through and be able to tackle problems and address them and unmask them in front of you. And bringing us back to the hypersensitivity, I feel like that makes us empaths as well. And I feel like that's why I've fallen into this role of coaching, is that I struggled so hard. And I'm a nice person, but I'm also a kind person. And it's like,
Mhm.
I don't want other people to struggle as hard as I did just to figure out the
Mhm.
things that seem to be so simple for others. My guidance in life has showed me that I want to really help people and bring them up. You know, it's no fun crossing the finish line by yourself. If you have your friends follow with you and people to celebrate with, it's a lot more fun.
Oh
No
yeah.
one likes drinking champagne alone by
Yeah, who
themselves.
wants to have a party of one?
No, just a pity party.
Right, I'm like, sometimes I do like a party
I know, I do too. Some days I just can't handle people, and I'm like, it's gonna be part of one
of
because I don't like your face right now. And that leads into that hypersensitivity. You know, we really have to stay regulated, especially with nutrition and
one. Yeah.
exercise, so that our body's not on five alarm fire. Like, we're not like, oh my God, look at that. Oh my God, why is that irritating me? I have no patience for anything. Oh, that
Mhm.
rock is in my way. You
Yeah.
know, that's kind of stupid things. But like, when I get up and I go work out and I hit the gym, even for like 30 minutes, it doesn't even have to be hard. It's just something that's full body.
Mhm.
You get in, you're pushing yourself to sweat and breathe and, you know, to a point of exhaustion. And then you can get up and move on with your day. You know, it doesn't
The
have,
routine is also helpful.
yes. And that's really where it does stick is
Mhm.
having those things, the nutrition, the diet really all stems from a routine. And through a routine, we help keep our oversensitivity dulled a little bit more
Mhm.
or a little more in check. You
Yes.
know, it's still there. I'm still
Yeah, it's still
visually
there.
observing everything, catching it, but it doesn't irritate me.
Right, because you can't control the world. At the end of the day, you can't totally control your surroundings, but you can help understand why you feel the way you do, what's triggering you, why, when can I notice it so I can figure out what's the plan of action, how can I regulate myself, what are some tools in my toolbox that I can use.
Exactly. And so today at the gym, for an example of my day, I was there and I was working out. And all I had was caffeine this morning and I didn't eat anything because I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to go fasted and I'm going to burn some fat.
Right.
But then the whole time I'm there, everybody's face is stupid. Everybody looks
Valid.
like they're in my way. And even if they're not, they're just in my vicinity. And I'm like, "Ah, why are they in my vicinity? I need this space." And it's just like, you catch yourself like, Chris, what are you doing here? Like, everybody is at this gym together. Why do you need this space just for you when you don't even need that space over there? You're good right here. But it's just that hypersensitivity because I didn't eat and I
Mhm.
haven't gotten the workout yet. But it was funny, by the end of my workout, I was like so much happier. And I was like, "Ah, everyone's just going through their own thing, struggling in their own way, Chris. We don't have to chastise everyone for existing." And that's what we want to be felt as too, is like a lot of times we get oversensitive. We are oversensitive and we do feel chastised or um, called out, or not even like called out, more so like disaligned maybe with our friend group when we're not seeing eye to eye on things, and we alienate ourselves. I could be in a group of friends that I've had for years, and they're all talking, and I'm just sitting there like, why am I here? I can't even talk about this. I don't
Mhm,
even want to be here. I
mhm.
don't even have anything to say about this. But really, I wish to be there. And I'm
Right,
just like,
yeah.
why am I holding myself back?
Mhm.
Because I didn't feed myself, and now I'm overstimulated, and now nothing is going right, and I need to go take myself home and take a nap.
And I feel like that sounds so stupid at first. It's like, okay, we know diet and nutrition and exercise is important, but when I started actually paying attention to how certain foods make my body feel, how my brain feels, it really does make a difference for like our particular brain.
I thought it was a getting old thing, but honestly, it's a getting to know you thing.
Yes.
The more you get to know your body, the more you listen, the more
Well,
in
our
tune you
brains are
become.
literally different. Literally, like under they've taken like a neurotypical brain and a neurodivergent brain, and they're quite literally shaped differently. With like different things are lit up. It's a completely different brain, and I think we need to pay attention to that and say, oh, I literally. It's not just that I'm broken or there's something wrong with me. I'm just different. I'm literally wired different, and my body requires some things that are a little different. My routine requires some things that are a little different, and that's okay.
Exactly. You're not broken. You're just different. And this is what we're doing, learning about why we're different.
Mhm.
So today's hypersensitivity, we've talked about how you need to wake up and eat some good protein in the morning because that's been shown to give you the amino acids and the precursors to make the neurotransmitters you need to function. And as a neurodivergent person, specifically on the ADHD side, where we don't make as much serotonin or norepinephrine or enough dopamine. And you really have to take into account that if we don't have them, we need to feed our body in order to make more, since we don't just make them automatically
Mhm.
to the need we need. So if you feed your body the amino acids, full protein, you're going to be able to make those precursors. And then at the same time, the fat is helping satisfy your hunger. So you're not as anxious and you're not as driven to, I don't know, it's like
I feel
almost.
like it gives you energy too, like a little bit of energy boost too. For me, like when I have like avocado in the morning or like some olive oil or something, that those good fats just make my body just have the fuel that it needs.
It definitely does, and you can definitely tell when you just have coffee and carbs in the morning
Right.
that you got 45
And
minutes
sugar.
top. You
Yeah.
got 45 minutes, and then it's worse than you started.
Do
30
you know
minutes.
you have 30 minutes?
Are you kidding me?
30,
30 minutes.
30, 30. Yes.
Yeah, and then all day, yeah, 30 minutes from now, get ready. 30 minutes. That's literally it. So amp yourself up on the proteins and fats because you're going to get a couple of hours out of there. So fiber is great for that too to fill that
Mhm.
satiety. And we'll go through as our podcast advances through these different like recipes that we have
Yeah.
for you, and we're going to post them on our social media. So we were talking about being hypersensitive and leading to overstimulation. So what are some tricks or tips that you have for our viewers for when you do get overstimulated? What do you do? What
Well,
are
I
the
got a big one.
signs? Like, what do you see? What do you start hearing, feeling, sensing, and then what do you do to solve that?
I have noticed, especially when I started experiencing regression, like skill regression when I first got diagnosed, which we can have a whole nother episode about that. But I really, sorry, what was the question? Oh my gosh.
So when you're over, typical ADHD, but it's that what do
Oh, the tip.
yeah,
Yes.
what do you feel? What do you hear, feel, sense when overstimulation is starting to occur? And then how do you know you're being overstimulated?
Yes.
And what do you do to solve it?
When I started experiencing skill regression, that was the main thing that popped up was my tolerance level for just being in large groups, social gatherings, stuff like that. Even if it wasn't like a party or anything, just going to the grocery store. It was so much more daunting. It was almost like I was like, there's something not right. I can't describe the feeling, but I'm so overstimulated. I have so much anxiety. Like I'm turning angry. I can't think straight. And I didn't know what it was at the time. And then I got diagnosed. And some things that I do to prevent me from spiraling when I get, because when I There's really no, it's just 0 to 100. Once I get to, I'm fine, and then I get to 100 and my social battery turns off and I'm done. I gotta go. I need to leave. I don't even want to say bye. I just want to get in bed, scroll on TikTok, and be by myself. And I have
So true.
learned that before I get to that point, I'm very vocal with the people around me. So, friends, family, my son. I am very vocal when I'm starting to feel a little overstimulated and I need a break. And so I'll be vocal about it. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed anymore. I'll tell people, hey, I'm going to go step out for 5 minutes. I'm going to go to the bathroom for a couple minutes. I'm going to go step in my room for a
Have
couple
you ever
minutes.
noticed when you do that, people almost like press on you more? And it's
Yes.
like, I've warned you now 3 times that I'm
Yes.
not feeling it, and you have not taken my
Because then
feelings
people
into
get offended.
consideration, and now I'm going to snap.
Because people get offended. They'll be like, oh, did I do something? So, something that I do, I always try, that way they don't do that, is to say, I'm not mad at you. No one did anything wrong here. It's a me thing. I'm just a little overstimulated. I just need to go take a 5 minute breather and everything will be okay.
Mhm.
And it's as simple as that. And my mom has actually like told me a few times, she's like, I love that you do that. Like, I appreciate it so much that you're just so open about that. And so that, I would say that's the biggest tip, is being able to be confident enough to express and recognize and let the people around you know, hey, I just need a 5 minute, 10 minute, whatever it is. No, and nobody's at fault here. I just need a breather. That's it.
That's honestly
No one has
amazing.
to get
And
upset.
telling people that they're
Mhm.
not the problem, like I just need a moment for myself,
Mhm.
is so beneficial because so when I'm masking and I'm out there trying to belong and like try to be included, want to be seen right, I want to be included, I want to be in the
Mhm.
mix. But then I start getting overstimulated because I'm doing things that aren't for me, they're for other
Mhm.
people because I want to be in belonging.
Mhm.
And then I'll notice that I start to get quiet.
Yes.
Like, I
Oh,
start to get
yeah,
quiet.
like
I'll go
mute,
from talkative to, like, I'm being over
nonverbal
talk yeah,
almost.
I go nonverbal, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Alright, well, I have nothing to say because you guys are talking over me or not listening to what I have to say, and I don't feel included anymore."
Mhm.
And honestly, I will sit there, and then in the past, I'll just sit there and drink,
Yes,
and then
yes, that unfortunately helps because it makes you feel more normal. You're able to tolerate more.
you're able to tolerate more. It doesn't make it better.
Right.
It makes you able to sit there longer. But then, as you know, if you're neurodivergent and have ever drank before, that
Mhm.
one is not enough. And that leads
Mhm.
to another one. It's like, well, I could feel better. I could feel better. And then you've
Right.
gone too far. And now your oversensitive ass is overloaded and spewing on
And now you're in
everybody.
rehab. No, I'm kidding.
But your friends might think you need it. So honestly, addressing it right when you feel it and saying, "Hey guys, I need 5 minutes," is
Mhm.
magic. Because
Yeah.
I didn't learn that till after one of my exes, where we just fought right there in the moment.
Right.
Because I was
Yeah.
like, "Well, let's just get this done and over with." And
Yes.
it's really like, "No, Chris, you need to go take your ass outside and take a breather, and
Mhm.
then come in." And cooler heads always prevail. If you feel that there's too many thoughts swimming in your head, go take a 5 minute break.
Mhm.
Go to the bathroom, sit in the stall.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the
Literally, that's
easiest
what
one for
I
me.
do.
I
I
go to
just
the
go to the
bathroom.
bathroom
I
and
go
just
to the
sit
bathroom.
there for a couple minutes.
Mhm. And it's a world of a difference. You come back
Mhm.
and you're like, I'm a different person. Not everything's so heavy. I don't know why that was so hard for me
It
to do
seems silly.
before,
Yeah, all of
but
a sudden it seems silly
it's
afterwards.
regulating our emotions because we're emotionally dysregulated and we're very sensitive and we're quick to react. And even though we do get those
We do give
warning
warnings.
signs, and I feel like that with other people, like the friends that I've eventually had to shut out of my life, are those ones that continually ignore what I say I need to continue this friendship.
Yes.
Instead, they make it about them.
Yeah.
And what have they done to upset me? And when I'm like, I need it for me, and they still make it about them. Sometimes those friendships are no longer friendships and they are one-sided energy suckers. Like they're taking
Mhm.
your energy and they want you to give them more. And when you stop and you set your boundaries to save yourself and your nervous system, then people get really butthurt. But
Yeah.
that leads to the authenticity. And I
Mhm.
think standing your boundaries helps protect your sensitivity.
That's boundaries are so important. Learning what are your boundaries and then addressing them with the people that are around you and sticking to them. And nobody has to get offended or anything. Nobody, this isn't like a battle. We're all just trying to work together, see how we can all be on this earth together at the same time, the most as peacefully as we can.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Like I said before, like we all want the same thing. As
Mhm.
much as we like to think we're all different, uniquely so, haven't you ever noticed that authentic people even have clones? Like you start seeing multiples of people and you're like, well, that person's supposedly authentic, but I just saw another person just like it. So everybody's the same, whether you want to believe it or not. Like we all want to be heard. We all
Yeah,
want
at
to
our
be
base
socially
level, yeah.
accepted, you know, and we want to be understood. And I know for a neurodivergent, me speaking personally, is like I always wish to be understood. And if I'm not, either I shut up because I'm not
Mhm.
explaining myself correctly and I don't know how, or it's just they don't care and it's not the time
Mhm.
to talk about it.
Mhm.
And sometimes just sitting there is good, you know, and it helps you
Yeah.
reflect inside and be like, okay, this isn't working. I'm getting frustrated. Why? And honestly, just sit with yourself and wonder. And usually it's the boundaries. You've either set the boundaries and you're not holding them, or you have yet to set your boundaries and now you're understanding that you need to. And honestly, boundary setting has been the best thing for me and putting myself out in the world confidently. Because now I can be authentically myself. And when something doesn't align with me, I'd rather say, no, I can't take care of that right now, or
Mhm.
I don't have the capacity for this at
Yeah.
the moment. I do apologize and I move on. And it's not like it's a work obligated thing, it's like a friend obligated thing. But it's like taking your time and your peace for you, not letting other people take it from you, even though you think you need to belong.
Yeah.
You'll feel so much better being you than being someone liked.
Yeah, I love that because it's so true, and it sounds so simple, but that really is like the key. That's the key. That there it is.
But I mean, we grew up in school systems where popularity was the goal, and like in our
Mhm.
life, and we're like,
And just general society, that's how it's structured.
well, I mean, yeah, I feel like it structures from that too,
Mhm.
because then it's like the popular are the ones that everyone looks after and listens to, and then if you don't feel seen, you do things that don't align with you because you want to be seen. But in
Mhm.
this day and age, we are showing that we're seeing more and more that authenticity gets you seen, gets you heard, gets you understood, because people do not want smoke blown up their ass
People
anymore.
are tired of the fakeness. I even see like
Inauthenticity.
celebrity culture is dying because and I think it's because people crave authenticity and they crave, I want to be able to relate. I want to feel seen. And so I want a creator or an influencer or something where I can relate to them. And so authenticity, I think, I hope that's the one thing people get from this podcast because that's the one thing you have to embrace to drop the mask fully.
And to live a life that is aligned with you and your passions and your fulfillment. Because if we're not living authentically for us, we're living inauthentically for someone else. And that's when you
Mm,
get the resentment, and that's when you're not feeling like you're aligned because you're living for someone else's thoughts, society's thoughts of you instead of who you are and what you represent in this world. And I found that a lot with, let's say, straight men. You
okay.
know, like as a gay man, like it's very easy to be out and loud in you because you've had to do it. Like we've
Yes,
had to be
you
set
weren't
apart.
given a choice.
No, we had a mask until we decided we didn't want a mask
Mhm.
anymore, and then we come out. Luckily, in today's day and age, like parents are just like, "Oh, my kid's gay," and they're all happy,
Right.
hooray! No one has to come out anymore. I love that, you know. And people are
There
just
still are some parents.
some, of
Okay.
course, but more and more so, people are applauded
Yes.
for being authentically them.
Yeah.
And so, as I was getting back, is that I feel like coming from a man, especially a firstborn, you're forced into this lane. That's usually a rendition of your parents, what they want to do with their life. Or society puts you in this box that you have to provide. You have to make
Mhm.
this money. You have to go to work. You have to have this and all this
Yeah.
to be successful.
Yeah.
You have to have a beautiful wife. You have to have kids. You have to have a house. And all that forces people to put on a mask because they want to be accepted by society. And they don't get to be themselves. That's why I feel like a lot of straight men are just a shallow. It's almost like they have this giant, like native mask on that you can't see anything who they are because everything is curtailed to what they want you to see. Like, and you can like look into their eyes and you're like, there's a lost little child in there, like that's screaming to come out, that's getting no attention.
Come on, baby.
Give them attention. Talk to your inner child. They're the ones who will give you
Please,
guidance
because
in this
I
life.
don't want to have to deal with your guys' bull crap anymore. Okay, as a sometimes straight woman, I don't want to have to deal with
And I'm
it.
not bashing either, because gay men, we have our own problems. You know, we overthink and overanalyze way too much, and we restrict ourselves and we hold ourselves back through these limitations. But it's also begat from growing up in a world where we've
Yes.
had to mask to belong. That really, this will be a whole nother podcast
Mhm.
too on sexuality or sensuality and just
Yeah.
like loving yourself. Like it's so hard. You think people love themselves. Even people, I thought I loved myself till I actually loved myself.
Exactly.
And then I was like,
You
this
think
is
you
what
love
it
yourself
is.
because you go get your nails done or you get a massage or you wash your face at night. And then you learn how to really love your inner child, your inner teenager, the deep part of yourself that you can't always love. That's true love.
You do. And it only happens through that regression work where you talk to your inner child, talk to your inner
Yes.
teenager, talk to that inner college kid.
Yeah.
Those are all consciousnesses within you, and they're all screaming to be heard. And if you're not sitting there and deciphering them, they may just sound like the internal voice that's saying, no, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. But really, it's a scorned little person inside of you that you need to have a conversation with. And when you can unlock those limitations that you've been setting yourself to because of parental pressures or societal pressures, and from a time that weren't even like cognizant of it happening. So that's why it's such like a mind fuck, is that we think we know and we think we understand and we think we accept, but it's only based on a surface level understanding. And until we do the deep work and get sensitive with yourself. And every time you're having those feelings come up in the time of overwhelm, it's like, all right, I'm feeling this. I don't feel like putting myself out there anymore. Why? Why don't I want to be the person I was just being? It's because now you're saying, well, this is no longer worth my inauthenticity. I've done it and now I've learned, nope, this is not for me. And it's going to keep happening, that overstimulation, until you change the route. And you say, I don't want to hang out with these friends for these reasons. I want to hang out with these friends for these reasons. And honestly, the whole context flips. I just set boundaries with my friends and said, hey guys, I don't want to talk negatively. I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. Like, I want to live in a positive speaking life. Like, we can address topics, but let's not shit on everything. Let's not bash things just for existing. Let's try to understand things. And I think that's where a lot of our fear comes from, is that we mask and stuff because we're afraid to be bashed for being authentically us. But as you're saying, as you've noticed in today's day and age, is 2025 is the year of boundaries and authenticity.
Mhm.
Is the day and age to be yourself and to tell people you can have access to me, but you have to come correct. And it doesn't keep you from being a kind person. You can always be a kind, nice person.
Yes, that is so important.
But there's a difference between people taking from you and you giving. You should always be ready to give. If people are starting to take, you set your boundaries and say, have a good day.
I like that. I like because I've never heard it worded that way. I love that.
The words of wisdom from inside my head.
From the many voices inside our head.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Plenty more to come.
I think we did even better. I'm so proud of us.
I
We
know.
did even better than our first
Every
episode.
episode's going to get better and better. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. And we'll see you next week. I'm Chris.
I'm Kaylee.
Bye bye.
Bye. That was so much
So much better.